God exists. His message is one. I began to understand His book is one. And His nation is one. And His faith is one. And His Messiah is one. We believe in one God. He brought the children of Israel. In fact, in Amos chapter 9, verse 15, He says, I will plant them in their land, and no longer shall they be pulled out of that land. How is it possible that we failed 6-day war, the war of Yom Kippur, 1948, and all the terrorist activity that we did, we could not destroy that little nation called Israel? For I am God and there is no other. I am God, there is none like me, foretelling the end from the beginning. He had thousands of these declarations in this manuscript that I began to unravel in 1993 in my attempt to convert my poor wife to Islam. Where are the corruptions you're talking about in the Bible, of course? I had thought sincerely that when I did my prayer, asking the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob to show me the truth, I had the Quran and the Bible side by side, comparing both manuscripts. And I wanted to ask God for help. And I wanted a neutral prayer that both Muslims, Jews, and Christians will agree to, since I want to make sure that I'm addressing God in the proper fashion. So I said the most neutral prayer will be in the name of the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Muslims believe in Abraham, supposedly, and Jacob, supposedly, and they believe in God. And Jews and Christians will agree. So I said, in the name of the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, show me the truth. I suspect the Quran is better than the Bible. But you show me the truth. And if you show me the truth, I will do your will in my life. I will do anything you want, anything. I will go to the end of the world. You just show me your truth. You know what happens when you pray in the name of the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? Here's what happens. You dialed the right number. You dialed the right number. Somebody on the other side picks up. I've been calling you all this time. How come you never answered? Well, you've been dialing the wrong number. I began to read that in every context in the Bible where Jesus is present, where God is present on the earth, and nations are being mentioned in which He will fight, every single one of them is Muslim. Every single one. I began to look at Psalm chapter 83. But Psalm 82, verse 8, it says, Arise, O God, judge the earth, for you shall inherit all nations. The Lord Himself will arise from His throne for that specific incident to judge the following nations. It's the most amazing piece of prophecy in the Bible. Yet when I became a believer and walked into a church, no one ever knew about this stuff that I was talking about. We were studying the book of Acts every single month and never got to these things that's in the Bible regarding these prophetic things. God will arise to judge the nations, and then He mentions them one by one. They have said, Come and let us cut them off from becoming a nation, that the name of Israel be remembered no more. For they form a confederacy against you, the tents of Edom and the Ishmaelites. Who are these people? Muslim. And I began to read, Assyria came to their aid, do to them as he did to Zeba and Zalmunna. Who is Zeba and Zalmunna? Zeba and Zalmunna, verse 11. I hope you brought your Bibles with you. The American mindset would look at Zeba and Zalmunna, would skip. We don't know who that is, and they keep going on. In other words, what will happen to these people is exactly what happened to Zeba and Zalmunna. And what happened to Zeba and Zalmunna? It's in the book of Judges, chapter 8. I believe verse 26. With the story of Gideon. You've heard of the story of Gideon? Now, who is Gideon? How much of the Bible is prophetic? All of it. All of it. Come on, Walid. All the Bible is prophetic? Yes. Okay, I can give you a verse that is not prophetic. Let's see. Blessed are you when they persecute you. Jesus given a sermon. How is that prophetic? Sure is. Because he was leaving and the sheep are going to become shish kebabs. So he told them, blessed are you when they persecute you. He's leaving. What's going to happen to the believers down there? They're going to get persecuted. That was very prophetic. Joseph, the suffering Messiah. David, the king Messiah. Gideon, the brave one. The warring Messiah, the conquering Messiah. You want to know what the Messiah does when he comes back again? Study the book of Gideon. All these things about Gideon, Judges. Study Gideon, and you know everything about Gideon. You know what the Messiah is going to do. What he's going to do, in verse 21. So Zeba and Zalmunna said, rise yourself and kill us, for as a man is, so is his strength. So Gideon arose and killed Zeba and Zalmunna, and took the crescent ornaments that were on their camels' necks. So in other words, when the Messiah comes, he will remove the crescent moon from all over the land on the high places. The crescent moon is on all the minarets, all throughout the Middle East. It must be the highest position in every single village or city is the crescent moon.
We have just completed the 2007 International Prophecy Conference with nearly a dozen world-renowned speakers, but you don't have to miss a minute.
I've been invited to many prophecy conferences, but this is the first one that I was allowed to talk about prophecy.
Could the apparitions that perform numerous signs and wonders that the Catholic Christians revere and worship also be the same things that Muslims will also worship?
Our spiritual link is so connected to Israel that whatever God promised Israel as a blessing can come upon us as Gentiles.
By 2015, Muslims will make up a majority of the Russian army.
Get the entire conference today. All messages on audio tape or CD for only $119 plus $10 shipping, or on DVD for only $199 plus $10 shipping. When you order all the sessions, we will send you absolutely free the historic Convocation, where 8 speakers were together on one panel for 3 exciting hours. Call now toll free 1-888-463-7639 and have your credit card ready.
In 45 of Isaiah chapter 23, the second half, that to me every knee shall bow, every tongue shall take an oath. There it is. Every knee will bow, every tongue shall take an oath. All right? He shall say, surely the Lord have righteousness and strength. To him men shall come. Oh, the Lord is here, and the whole world is flocking to worship the Lord. Who bows to him? Every knee will bow? Not just human beings will bow. Look at 46, the first verse. Bel bows, Nebo stoops. Arthur Jeffrey, one of the greatest historians in Islam, says that the worship of Allah is the same as worship of Bel, the moon god. Allah is another form of the worship of Bel. Before the advent of Islam, they worshiped the moon god. Bel is the moon god. And it says, Bel bows. The moon god will bow, the crescent moon. Nebo stoops. Their idols were on the beasts and on the cattle. Remember, I was sharing with you, Judges. It was on the camel's necks, the crescent moon that was plucked away. That also will bow. And it goes on to talk about this amazing prophetic stuff. It will really literally take me, say, 8 hours a day for a month to go over the things that I've discovered. But I only have 2 hours. How can I share all these things in 2 hours? Unfortunately, in America, everything is fast food. Quickly. Get this guy out of the stage, there's another guy who's coming after. I began to understand, even from understanding the Bible, about the concept of who Satan